Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Riopelle, and this week's presentation is on the stem cell facelift. So what is a stem cell facelift? Well, a stem cell facelift is taking fat and stem cells from the body and transplanting it into the face. So as we age, it turns out that we lose fat, collagen, and bone from the upper face. And the loss of that fat, collagen, and bone from the upper part of the mid-face is partly responsible for the sagging and sinking that we get in causing the jowls and the marionette lines and the nasolabial folds, and even to some degree the sagging brows. So the stem cell facelift is a process in which cells are used from the body to combine with fat, and they are transplanted to specific areas of the face, almost throughout the entire face, which rejuvenates the face and also helps to lift. It's not a regular facelift. It's not the traditional facelift with cutting and so on. It's simply a transplant of the fat, of your own fat, from an area of your body such as your abdomen or your hips or thighs, an area that you really would like to have less fat, and it's then transplanted into the face itself to create the rejuvenation. Now this is how the process works. What we do is we first do what is a regular type of liposuction procedure using something called Tickle Lipo. Tickle Lipo is a special vibrating cannula that knocks the fat out of suspension. As you see that all of the fat is actually suspended in a matrix, and the Tickle Lipo machine creates a very fast vibration within the fat itself that knocks the cells out of suspension and then actually suctions them up, and it brings the stem cells with it. So what we would do if you came in for a procedure is we would select the area that we're going to work on, for example, the abdomen. We'd numb that with what's called tumescent numbing medication, or tumescent lidocaine, which is a very dilute solution of lidocaine, sort of like Novocaine. Then we would put the Tickle Lipo instrument in, and it vibrates, as I said, removes the fat and the stem cells. We then purify out the stem cells and also take the fat, and all of this is done under very sterile conditions, and we then draw some blood. The blood is then taken and a kit is used to create what is called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma. The PRP contains platelets and growth factors. We then mix the combination of the three, the stem cells, the fat, and the protein and the platelet-rich plasma into one solution. So the fat is actually removed initially using this little tiny container, and it goes into this sterile container, and from there it's processed along with the stem cells. Once we have this mixture, we then put the mixture into small syringes, and we use these small cannulas, and we decide where in the face the rejuvenation is needed. We actually place the fat and the stem cell mixture into specific areas of the face, typically into the upper face right in here to recreate the cheekbone, and also into the back part of the face to pull back, and sometimes along the jawbone to recreate the jawbone area and create a sharp angle at the jawbone, and even into the forehead to lift the brows and make the forehead look softer, as well as along the orbital rim, the eyes, to help recreate that area. We also take stem cells without the fat and we inject those into the areas that you don't need fat. So typically this area right in here is where the fat is dropped to, and we don't want to put more fat there, but we do want to put some stem cells there alone because they actually can create some rejuvenation. So through this process it has several effects. It has a lifting effect from the effect of the fat. It has a filling effect, which reduces the bone loss and the appearance of the bone loss and the fat loss and so on. And then it also rejuvenates the skin. The cells placed in the skin, both the PRP and the stem cells, have a very rejuvenating effect on the surface of the skin. So overall, one gets a very refreshed look, a lifted look, and the downtime is fairly minimal. It's not a regular surgical procedure on the face that involves any cutting. We simply create little holes, tiny holes with a needle in specific areas, and we insert the cannula right through those holes and layer the fat in there. So the process is very exciting, and it creates a very nice, refreshed look and a very great way for rejuvenation. The combination of the cells plus the fat is predicted to have a much longer effect in terms of how long it lasts than if one just transplants fat. In the old days, we simply used to take the fat and transplant it alone, but the problem with this process was that often the fat didn't survive. It didn't have the matrix, it didn't have the ability to create survival. So we lost a lot of fat, and so we ended up doing procedures where actually there was not a lot of long-term benefit because the fat didn't live beyond 6 months. With the new processing of fat and how we do things now, though, the fat has a much higher survival rate and is much more likely to last long-term. And classically, if the fat has lasted to 90 days to 120 days, it's considered to be a good long-term result, and people will still have that fat that's been replaced even at 5 years out. So this has been information on the stem cell facelift. And if you'd like further information, you can certainly find that on our website, which is riopellecosmetic.com. Thank you very much.